and we don't know. But I can see book 2 coming down the road, and I invite all of you who have some ideas about what might happen to Maria or what she might do to drop me a note through my website or to my university email. Thank you very much.
Questions that I would like to ask Jean to answer for you here about the book. I want to say that I read Jean's manuscripts for The Lady in Blue over a period of 3 years, I think, in various forms. And I kept thinking, I'm editing this, I'm doing that, or whatever. But it's still, there seems to be, I could sense that Jean was struggling with a way to sort of pull all this together. Because the book was originally in a very different form than what you're going to read now. So I guess I'd like Jean to explain a little bit about, what it is, the process that she went through in pulling this all together, and what finally clicked in her head that said, this is how it should work. I should start here, not the way I started before. And the book should progress this way. I should rearrange these elements. So I'll just ask you if you would like to explain that.
Well, thanks, Diane. I think I did address some of that in my talk. But I will say that it was not, I really did myself in. I think I chose the most difficult form of a book I could possibly have chosen. There are multiple perspectives. What's easy is to write a first-person narrative. You just go chronologically. You say, I did this, I did that. Here I've got 7 or 8 different characters writing from their perspective. And I have time that's all intersposed and interjected. So it was not easy. But when things fell into place with the parallel between immigrants and people who need to reclaim their past and the Lady of the Legend in Blue, things did start to fall into place.
My second question is, how did you manage to get all the material that you use in your book? How did you get, I know that you, as you said, took a lot of pictures in the Southwest, interviewed a lot of people, had them tell you their stories, but how do you get people to do that, and where did all this information come? How do you know so much about these characters?
Right. Thank you. No, I do think that is somewhat startling to people. There's a wealth of really detailed information in there, and how did I come to know that? And I must say I relied upon the kindness of a great many friends. I actually started off in the Glastonbury Police Department. I'd never even been in a police department. So I went down, I knocked on the door, and I said, would anybody help me write a book about police and criminals and so on? And a lovely young woman named Christina agreed to help me, and she took me for a ride along, which was quite exciting, and I started there. And then my daughter found me a wonderful detective in Maryland who worked with me consistently over 5 years to teach me something about police culture and crime and punishment, of which I knew absolutely nothing. And then a very good friend of mine, Allison Coolbrith and Barry Lastra, who are sitting back there, I said, can you find me a Border Patrol agent? And because they usually can find anything. So they did. They found me a wonderful man named Larry who was in a Border Patrol station, and he taught me a lot. He showed me a lot. Kind of wish I hadn't seen some of the things that I saw. He showed me the smuggling trails, and we walked them. And there's, as you'll see, there's a lot of information that describes very accurately what that crossing is like, and the remnants that are left behind, and the problems it presents for farmers along the border. I think I wanted very much to make this book fair and to show that not only do the immigrants suffer, but so do law enforcement officials. There are good cops and bad cops, but regardless, they are the ones who show up. As one of Maria's colleagues says, someone has to show up, otherwise evil wins. So they're not perfect, but they're out there doing it for us, looking at death so we don't have to look at it. And it takes a toll on them as well. It's really an extremely miserable situation out there, is all I can say. And I would add that when I began this over 5 years ago, it was possible to talk with illegal immigrants who were very open, to talk with law enforcement